Welcome to Jeremy's IT Lab. This is a free complete course for the CCNA. If you like these videos, please subscribe to follow along with the series. Also, please like and leave a comment, and share the video to help spread this free series of videos. Thanks for your help. If you want more labs like this, I highly recommend Boson Software's NetSim for CCNA. NetSim is a network simulator like Packet Tracer, but it's far more powerful and contains over 100 detailed, guided labs covering the CCNA exam topics. If you want to get NetSim, follow the link in the description. In this lab, we'll practice some of the Dynamic ARP Inspection configurations we looked at in the lecture video. Unfortunately, Packet Tracer doesn't support all of the DAI commands we covered, but we can still set up the basics. Before that, we'll configure R1 as a DHCP server, and also enable DHCP snooping on switch 1 and switch 2 for review. So let's get right into step 1 and configure R1 as a DHCP server. Enable conft. First, I'll configure the range of excluded addresses, since it's configured separately from the DHCP pool. IP DHCP excluded address 192.168.1.1, 192.168.1.9. Okay, now the pool. IP DHCP pool, pool 1. First, the address range. Network 192.168.1.0, 255.255.255.0. And then I'll configure R1 as the default gateway. Default router 192.168.1.1. Okay, that's all I'll configure on R1. Next up, I'll configure DHCP snooping on switch 1 and switch 2. I don't specify the exact settings you should use, so let's just configure the basics. Enable it and configure the appropriate trusted ports. Switch 1 first. Enable conft IP DHCP snooping. That command enables it globally, but it also needs to be enabled per VLAN. IP DHCP snooping VLAN 1. And then I'll remove option 82. No IP DHCP snooping, information option. Finally, I'll configure G02 as a trusted port. Interface G02, IP DHCP snooping trust. Exit. Now, as for G01, it could be either trusted or untrusted. Untrusted is more secure, since it could catch any DHCP messages that might have slipped past switch 2, perhaps due to a misconfiguration. But it also takes more processing power on switch 1. I'll leave it as untrusted, as I recommended in the DHCP snooping videos. Okay, now switch 2. Enable conft IP DHCP snooping, IP DHCP snooping VLAN 1, and remove option 82. No IP DHCP snooping, information option. And then I'll trust G01. Interface G01, IP DHCP snooping trust. Exit. Okay, that's all for DHCP snooping. Since I'm on switch 2 now, I'll configure DAI here first. IP ARP Inspection VLAN 1. Okay, it's enabled for VLAN 1. Now the instructions say to enable all additional validation checks, so I'll do that now. IP ARP Inspection validate, and let me check the options. As I demonstrated in the lecture video, to enable all 3 checks, you have to enter them in a single command, although the order doesn't matter. So, destination MAC, IP, source MAC. Okay, I'll confirm in the running config later. Now I'll trust switch 2's G01 interface, since it's connected to switch 1. Interface G01, IP ARP Inspection trust. Okay, that's all. So I'll use end to return to privileged exec mode. Let's check the configuration. Show run. Right here at the top, we can see the DAI configuration and the DHCP snooping configuration. And if I look down at G01, it is trusted for both DHCP snooping and DAI. Now let's check a DAI show command. Show IP ARP Inspection interfaces. Okay, notice that all interfaces are untrusted by default. Only G01 is trusted because we configured it. However, there is a difference here. Rate limiting is enabled at 15 packets per second on the untrusted ports, but on the trusted port too. This is different than what I showed in the lecture video. According to Cisco's documentation, as well as my own physical and virtual switches that I tested it on, rate limiting should not be enabled on trusted ports by default. So I'm not sure if this is an error in Packet Tracer, or perhaps it's due to a different iOS version. But as I said, Cisco documentation states that rate limiting should be disabled by default on trusted ports, and my own testing on multiple switches had the same results. So I think this is an error in Packet Tracer. Anyway, let's move on to switch 1. I'll do the same DAI configurations. IP ARP Inspection VLAN 1. IP ARP Inspection Validate Destination MAC, IP Source MAC. In switch 1's case, I'll configure both G01 and G02 as trusted ports. Interface range G01 to 2. IP ARP Inspection Trust. End. Let's check the config. Show run. There's the DAI and DHCP snooping configs. Let's look at the interfaces. Notice G02 is trusted for both DAI and DHCP snooping, but G01 is trusted only for DAI. That's just how I set up the network, but there are other options too. The most important thing is to make sure that the interface connected to the router, G02, is trusted for both DAI and DHCP snooping. But G01 could be trusted or untrusted. That choice is up to you. Finally, let's see if the PCs can successfully get IP addresses via DHCP and then ping the default gateway. So I'll go into PC1 and change this gateway setting from static to DHCP. And that should automatically change the Fast Ethernet 0 settings to DHCP2. And it does. Now I'll do that on PC2. Change from static to DHCP. And on PC3 too. Change from static to DHCP. Now I'll go into the CLI of PC1. And here we can see its IP address. So it has successfully gotten an IP address via DHCP. Let's see if it's allowed to ping. If not, there is likely a problem with DAI. I'll ping R1. Ping 192.168.1.1. Okay, it works. Looks good. So, in this lab we configured DHCP, DHCP snooping, and then Dynamic ARP Inspection. As I said at the beginning, unfortunately not all commands are supported in Packet Tracer, but you can still practice the basics. That's all for this lab. Now let's take a look at a lab in Boson Software's NetSim for CCNA. Okay, here's today's Boson NetSim practice lab. Now in Boson NetSim for CCNA, there are no Dynamic ARP Inspection practice labs, so I have selected this one to show you, Enhancing Switch Security 2. It's actually a pretty big lab, so we're not going to do all of it. This is the topology, router 3, switch 4, and PCs 2 and 4. And I have configured VLAN interfaces on these two switches, so we'll test some pings later to the PCs. And here are the tasks. There's 6 tasks. So, just in the interest of time, I've completed tasks 1, 2, 3, and 4, which are basic things like host names, IP addresses, etc. So let's get right into task 5, which is configure port security. So from switch 4, ping PC2 and PC4. All right, like I said, it has a VLAN interface, so it will use its VLAN interface to ping the PCs. Okay, it can ping PC2 and PC4. Okay, step 2 is to check the ARP table. All right. Okay, so this .2 is PC2. We can see the hardware address, that's the MAC address there. And .4 is PC4. Okay, step 3 is to check the MAC address table and find which interface PC2 is connected to and which interface PC4 is connected to. Now actually we can already see that information here in the ARP table, but let's check it again in the MAC address table. So check Fast Ethernet 01, the MAC address ends in 9972. And check the ARP table, Fast Ethernet 01, 9972. Okay, so that is PC2. And the device connected to Fast Ethernet 02, the MAC address ends in 6569, Fast Ethernet 02, 6569. Okay, that is PC4. Okay, step 4. Verify that the MAC address stored in the table on switch 4 is correct for PC2 by clearing the MAC addresses stored in the MAC address table for the Fast Ethernet 01 interface. Okay, let's try that. Clear MAC address table, dynamic, and specify the interface, Fast Ethernet 01. Let's check the MAC address table. Okay, and it learned it again. 9972 on Fast Ethernet 01. Now it learned that because of what it says up here. Network devices can periodically send layer 2 keep alive messages. So this is to check if the neighbor is alive. And devices can use those messages to learn the MAC address of connected devices. Okay, on switch 4, disable Fast Ethernet 01. All right. Shut down. What is the switch port operational mode of Fast Ethernet 01? Let's check. Do show interface F01 switch port. Okay, the administrative mode is dynamic desirable. The operational mode is static access. Okay. Step 7, before port security can be applied to the interface must be placed in non-negotiate mode. Okay, so it can't be using DTP, right? I covered that in my videos. So, switch port mode access. Now this alone should disable DTP. Yes, it's static access now. So you don't actually have to use the switch port negotiate command like that, but you can also if you want. Okay, looks good. Okay, step 8. Before enabling port security on the interface, you should set the maximum number of MAC addresses that are allowed to access the interface to 2. And the action that should occur if this number is exceeded, shut down. Okay, why 2? We are on switch 4 now. Okay, I think only 1 needs to be allowed, but perhaps there's a reason to allow 2. Which step was that? That was step 8. Okay. So switch port security maximum, and then enter the number here, 2. And the action that should occur if the number is exceeded. Okay, switch port security violation. These are the options. We're going to set shutdown, which is actually the default. Okay, on switch 4, display the current configuration to verify. Do show run. Okay, I will check. There we go. Fast Ethernet 01. Switch port security maximum 2. Looks good. And it didn't show the violation shutdown command. That is because that's the default, so it doesn't display in the running config. Oh, and that is actually the question here in step 10. Why is the violation mode you configured not displayed in the output of the command you issued in the previous step? That's because it's the default setting, so it doesn't actually display. Okay, on switch 4, configure PC2's MAC address as a secure MAC address for the Fast Ethernet 01 interface. Okay, so we're going to manually configure it. Switch port security MAC address, and we're not going to make it sticky. C2892.9972. That is PC2's MAC address, according to here. Let's check that in the CLI just to make sure. Go back to the show MAC address. 000C2892.9972. Okay, looks good. Okay, so I'll hit enter the command, and then finally in step 12, enable port security. Switch port security. There we go. Now that port security has been configured and enabled, enable the interface. So this is something that's good to do sometimes if you're configuring things like port security, is shut down the interfaces while you're configuring them, and then once the configuration is ready, enable it with no shutdown. That is a good practice often. No shut. Okay, default port security settings. This is step 14. Settings are not displayed in the running configuration. How can you view the port security settings configured on the interface? Okay. Show port security interface. F01. This is how you can view the port security settings. like the default violation mode of shutdown, for example. Okay, on switch 4, secure the port connected to PC 4. Okay, that is fast Ethernet 02, and use the same settings as those you used in the previous steps. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. Maximum of 2, shutdown mode, violation mode of shutdown, and manually configure the MAC address. So let me get that MAC address once more. Okay, that's the MAC address there. I'm going to highlight it. Okay. Interface F02, shut it down first. Switch port security maximum 2. Switch port security violation shutdown. That's the default, so you don't actually have to configure it, but I'll do that anyway. Switch port security MAC address, and I copied the MAC address above. I will right-click it to paste it. There we go. And now enable port security itself. And then enable the interface. Okay, so it should be working now. And then we'll move on to task 6, which is disable and set access mode on unused ports. So this is a good general security practice to do on switch ports that you're not using. Disable DTP, so put them in non-negotiate mode, or make them access ports, and also shut them down, disable them. Okay, on switch 3 and switch 4, which fast Ethernet ports are in use? Let's see. Show interfaces status. Fast Ethernet 0, 1, and 2, and 11 and 12 are used on switch 4, switch 3. Fast Ethernet 0, 1, and 11 and 12. Let me check that in the diagram also. Yes, looks good. Okay, so fast Ethernet 0, 1, and these ones here must be 11 and 12. Okay, disable the ports that are not in use, and then make them access ports. Okay, so I'll do that here on switch 3 first. Interface range. This is a case where the range command is very helpful, so you don't have to enter the commands one by one. Fast Ethernet 02 to 10. Shut down, switch port mode, access. And then I'll do the same on switch 4. This time the range is Fast Ethernet 03 to 10. Shut down, switch port mode, access. Okay, verify that the network is fully functional by issuing a ping from PC2 to router 3. All right, let's see if that works. Hopefully we configured port security correctly and it doesn't block the ping. Okay, good. It is working. All right, so that is the lab. I'm going to use the grade lab function and see if I configured everything correctly. Click here. Oh, I missed some commands. Okay, let's see what I missed on switch 3 and switch 4. Fast Ethernet 01, I didn't configure as an access port, or 11 and 12. Switch 4. Okay, this switch port, no negotiate, is an extra. You don't need that, as I said. Just configuring access mode disables DTP. So that's an extra command. And then I didn't configure access mode on Fast Ethernet 02. Let's see if I did forget that. Okay, so yes, I enabled port security with the same settings, but I did not configure them as access ports. So that is a mistake. But that's a great thing about Boson NetSim. Something I actually haven't shown you because I've done all these labs correctly. Maybe I was rushing through it a bit too much. So when you do make mistakes, the missing commands are highlighted in red, so you can go back and fix them. These are the commands I missed here. And if there are extra commands, they are highlighted in blue. And these extra commands, they usually won't count against you. Even if you have a few extra commands, they will still say you completed the lab successfully. But yeah, you just want to make sure you don't miss any commands. Okay, so that's a great function about Boson NetSim, that grade lab function that points out exactly what commands you missed or what extra commands you put in. Okay, so that's all for today's Boson NetSim practice lab. If you want to get Boson NetSim, please follow the link in the video description. Before finishing today's video, I want to thank my JCNP level channel members. To join, please click the Join button under the video. Thank you to Tanvir, Charlesetta, Gerard, Tom, Samil, Scott, Martin, Kwa, Tebogo, Anand, Pavel, Abraham, Sergey, Unjoku, Victor, Roger, Suki, Kenneth, Seamus, Brandon, Marcel, Coney, Donald, Gustavo, Prakash, Nasir, Erlison, Marco, Daming, Ed, John, Funny Dart, Velva Jacob, Boson Software, Devin, Jonathan, and Vance. Sorry if I pronounced your name incorrectly, but thank you so much for your support. This is the list of JCNP level members at the time of recording, by the way, June 20th, 2021. If you signed up recently and your name isn't on here, don't worry. You'll be in future videos. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, and share the video with anyone else studying for the CCNA. If you want to leave a tip, check the links in the description. I'm also a Brave verified publisher and accept BAT or Basic Attention Token tips via the Brave browser. That's all for now.